It's all about humanity. 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 It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. Tonight on Trains and Tech, have I got an exciting project for you. If you guys all remember, I made a bookcase, or I didn't make a bookcase. I assembled a bookcase, and let's just say I didn't do the best of following directions. That was not the highlight of that evening. So tonight I'm going to attempt to redeem myself with another project, kind of a shelf project, kind of a storage project. So I think it's along the same lines. The good news about tonight's project, no instructions. So I got nothing to follow, nothing to know if I'm doing it right or wrong. We're just going to kind of build it and hope that by the time I'm done, that what I am going to attempt to store on those shelves is going to fit. This design is very, very, very roughly, not even close at all, based off of a design that I saw in Roy Eltham's train room. I saw it in the background, asked him a couple questions about it, like about 4 years ago, I guess it was. And I've been putting off this project for various reasons, but tonight's the night. I don't have any air-powered tools. You'll be happy to know that. I do have a trim saw, although I already did the trim saw work, and I will show you the glorious results of my trim saw cutting. But the only tool I think I'm going to need tonight is going to be a drill, screwdriver type of device. So hopefully there won't be any blood. So if blood's an issue, we're going to try and avoid that tonight. I probably shouldn't have said that. Now that I said that, I feel like I might be in trouble. I do have on my safety shoes, very important. I have learned from watching Otter Creek and Rio Grande, the most important thing when using power tools and doing a project in the workshop is to wear your safety shoes. I do not, Lynn. I am still happy to say that I have plenty of Band-Aids. They have come in handy before, but let's just say I'm doing okay. So step one on the project is over here. I've got some stuff kind of thrown under the bench, as probably a lot of us do, and you never see it because I've got my fancy dancy whatever we want to call this, material to hide stuff behind. And it doesn't quite work for me, but that's where this new shelf is going to go. It's actually going to go underneath. So step one of this process was I pulled out some scrap wood, and I say scrap wood because it's not really scrap wood, but basically when Jerry cut the wood for my bench work, I had him cut some extra because I wasn't sure exactly what I was gonna need. So we've got a what is this, like a 1x3 or something, and we've got this is made into a leg, and I've got, I think this is like a 1x2, maybe something like that, and I've got a piece of masonite here, but we might not get to the masonite part. So the first thing that I did is I needed to get the right height of my leg. I kind of decided I was going to make this basically a 4-post shelf, four legs, 4-post legs shelf. So I'm going to use a leg in the back, and then I'm going to use this in the front. So ideally, I'll have some like structure and support on the back here with, I don't know. Adam's telling me to read the directions. I don't have directions to read, so I'm making things up. And yes, it is a skirt. That would be the correct name for this material. Is a skirt under my fascia. Keeping things pretty, right? Keeping things pretty. So I kind of made a little bit of a mistake. These are put together with pocket holes. So the first thing that I did was I got out my old school Ryobi, however you say it. It's blue. It's not even the new color. It is blue. It's the old color trim saw. And I used this handy dandy 5.5-inch blade that has been in here for who knows how long. And I started to try and cut this thing off at the appropriate height. And unfortunately, I hit a screw. And in my haste to try and get things done, let's just say I thought like maybe I could cut through the screw. I couldn't. Didn't end up cutting through the screw. Of course, that was my first cut. So if you recall on the thumbnail, you might notice that I get, all of the edges that I cut. So I cut down the leg piece and these pieces here, and you can see they were nicely burned. Here's the pocket where the screw was. So we did get everything cut. Let's just say that blade is about as good as using a steak knife. I probably would have gotten further quicker just pulling out the steak knife ahead of time. So we got them cut though. That's the good thing, right? So next step I now know they're gonna fit under my shelf. So we're good there, right? Height's good, right? I got a leg that's the right height. Some people might have noticed I posted up a picture on Facebook. The next thing I needed to do was figure out the spacing of my shelves, because how else am I going to fit things on a shelf? I need enough space between the shelves. So I decided that what I was going to do is, the item was just under 2 inches. So I figured I would do 2 1/4 inch spacing, which should allow me to get my fingers in to kind of grab the item and pull it out. So the item is, I think, just over 1 3/4 inches. 2 1/4 spacing is the plan, and I hope I can get my fingers in. That's all I gotta say. I would love to get a track saw, and I looked for a track saw for a trim saw and didn't find a track saw for a trim saw, but I didn't want to buy a full-size saw because I don't really have room for that. But if somebody knows of like a 3-foot or even a 2-foot track for a trim saw, I would be in, because yeah, that's what I need. So I searched around the train room, and I found this box sitting there. You guys might remember this box. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. And it's a Bluetooth headset box, but if you measure the top of the box, it ends up being 1 1/4 inches. So this is pretty awesome. So I know both this Miles Craft and I know Craig makes a kit, but I didn't think it would work with the trim saw. Do we know for sure it works with the trim saw, or are we... I know it works for full-size saws. I just don't know if it works for trim saws. But so I figured out this was 2 1/4, right? So I said, here we go. We're gonna make this happen. So I took my leg and I lined it up, and I made a bunch of lines 2 1/4 apart, because that's how much space I thought I needed for my shelves. And I guess you can kind of tell, right? I'm holding them over the rolling stock, right? So it's probably a pretty good guess. People figured out at this point these shelves probably have something to do with rolling stock. So hopefully it's gonna work. So Adam says it worked on his rigid 7.5. Yeah, so Adam's yelling now. Thanks, Adam. My saw is a 5.5. So I don't know if it's gonna work, but anyway. So here, so I drew out the lines, and that basically gave me the height. So I now have lines on this piece here, and I have lines on this piece here. So now I need to connect them together, and this is where we're going to start doing some work. What I decided to use for my shelf rails is some aluminum that I found on Amazon. This is 1 inch by 1 inch by 1/8 inch thick by 13 inches long. I thought that this would be a good solution over me trying to cut a bunch of pieces the same length. This gives me a square surface on all edges, which is hopefully going to allow me to assemble things in a square manner, because square is where things are going to be kind of important here, right? So the idea that I'm looking at here is this is kind of going to be one side, right? So I don't know if you guys can kind of see that in here, but so this, my triangle is going to be in the back. This flat bar is going to be in the front, and we're going to have this piece of aluminum between it. and hopefully that will allow me to slide said object onto the shelves. But I did make a mistake, and I didn't have time to fix it, so I'm kind of just moving forward with the quote mistake. I don't know that it's really a mistake. It's kind of a mistake. I bought flathead screws, and I thought what I was gonna just do was countersink the holes. But then I really started thinking about it, and I started saying, you know, 1/8" material, if I countersink the holes, it doesn't give me a lot of meat left. So I kind of decided I wasn't going to countersink the holes, but now that means that what I've got is a rail with a screw head, the edge of a screw head basically sticking out. So ideally, in a perfect world, I would change them all over to, you know, panhead screws, but it's very likely I'm just not going to do that, because I'm probably just not going to do that. So I need to attach this piece of aluminum to all these, you know, pieces of wood, using these little, these are number 8 3/4" long screws, going from 1/8" metal into 3/4" plywood. So I got 3/4" screws. So theoretically the right, you know, length or whatever. But I needed to cut a bunch of holes in this guy. So what I came up with, and just so we get a sense as well, I'm going to be doing, let's see, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're going to have 17 shelves on this. So I need to cut holes in whatever 17 times 2 is of these, and getting it all together. So what I did was I made a jig. I didn't make a fixture. I know that in certain worlds this would be called a fixture. In my world, I call this a jig. But I made a jig, and the idea is that I can take this piece of aluminum, and I can oh, and I just knocked this car off the track, because why am I doing this right here? So, and of course I can't just like leave it, right? Like I have to fix it right now while everybody's watching. Okay. So I can basically attach this to this, line it up with the edge here, and then I've got holes pre-drilled. So theoretically I'll do it. So wait, let's see. So what Steve's saying is, on the contrary, the recessed heads actually give you more contact surface and holding strength. Ask me how I know about aluminum fastening. Steve, how do you know about aluminum fastening? So what you're telling me is that I should go back and actually just countersink all of these. I do theoretically have the thing to countersink things. But we're gonna move over to my workshop, and I think we're gonna be better in my workshop. If you don't know, my workshop is the floor, because while it would be nice to have a bench or anything to work from, I've got a floor. So I can't see the chat, so when you make your witty remarks, I won't be able to see them until I come back. So feel free to make them, and we'll go from there. But what I'm gonna do is, so I got my jig, I got the aluminum, and I've got a clamp. So I'm going to clamp the piece of aluminum to my jig, and I'm gonna hopefully clamp it tight enough that it doesn't move. I've got it lined up on the edge. It'll make nice holes. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn the lights up. You can see okay. I don't need to. Okay. We're okay. I am going to get out the old garbage can because around here, the easy way to clean up is to just do the work inside the garbage can. This way, there's no vacuuming after the fact. I am using this size bit. Don't ask me what size it is because I know that it's an 11/64 bit. And I know that because it's probably written on here somewhere. It says 11/64. So 11/64 for a number 8 screw should allow it to fit. And basically, we're just going to screw inside the Isn't this exciting? So you screw inside the garbage can, nothing to clean up. So holes on that side, and now I've got holes on this side as well. So the only thing I need to do now is do this with 36 more of these, right? So I got a stack of them here, and I guess there's good news and there's bad news, I guess. So the good news for all of you is that I ordered enough for all of the shelves. And then I realized I didn't actually order enough for all the shelves, so I ordered more. And when I ordered more, I ordered them, a couple hours later in the day. So for some odd reason, I got the second batch, but I still haven't gotten the first batch. So you don't need to watch me screw, drill, whatever. What's that word called? You don't need to watch me drill all the holes in all 36 because I've only actually got 12 of them. And I guess the other thing is I actually I drilled all the holes already. So you don't need to watch me drill the holes. All the holes are already drilled. I didn't need to use a Band-Aid. Bob, you know what? You bring up a good point, and I'm gonna. So there is something that I did learn working in a shop and working with metal. Aluminum is not magnetic, whereas steel is magnetic. If you are drilling aluminum or anything like this, and you get a piece of aluminum in your eye, it is very, very difficult to get out. Because if you get a piece of steel in your eye, they just use a magnet, and they basically suck the steel out of your eye with a magnet. If you get a chip of aluminum in your eye, the only way they really have to get it out is to actually grab it. So, probably wear safety glasses. Somebody asked how much weight are the shelves going to hold. Not much. They're pretty lightweight shelves for everything we need to do. So the next step of this little fairy tale process of mine, and as you can see, I'm actually holding these. So the next step we are going to need to do, and we'll head back over to my workshop. We're going to get we'll get the trim saw out of the way. We won't need this jig until the next order of stuff comes in. If you're wondering, when I wasn't using this saw, this is what I used to cut plywood. And I don't know if you can see in this view or not, but the saw is significantly bent. This is not a good saw to use to cut. I do have one of these things. Theoretically make things square, but we're not going to use that. We don't need that. That's for later. So I've got this and I've got this. And what I need are the screws, which are up here. Still wearing my safety shoes. Overkill on the amount of holes. So the reason I have 2 holes on the ends of each is to keep things square. If I square off one end and then square off the other end, theoretically then what I'm making would be square. So the 2 holes are more about keeping things square than not. Bob, do I have a miter box? I think so, maybe. I don't know where it is, if I have one. And the other sort of miter box conundrum is I don't know that I know where the saw is. So these are going to go like this. Right like this. We're going to do 5 of them up at the very top. And then just to get a little bit of strength in these, we're going to do another one kind of down near the bottom. So I need to make 2 of these frames right now. And this is why I have the 2 holes, is because what I am going to do is I am going to put a Phillips bit in here. And I am going to line this up. And this is where I'm probably going to start rushing and make a mistake. So, and I'm not watching the chat, so if I make a mistake, yell really loud, and hopefully I will see it. So if you remember, I've got lines everywhere. Theoretically, the end of the aluminum is square. Theoretically, the leg is square. So I am going to pretend that this leg is square, and we're going to just screw that in. And it did shift slightly, so we're gonna kick it back, get it nice and lined up, make it nice and straight. All right, so now I want to figure out where this bottom one's gonna go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this one's going to go here in the 12th spot because that's just the random number that I chose. And the reason I'm doing this one next is, again, I'm going to try and make this square just using the fact that the aluminum is square, and hope for the best, as they say. And we'll see how that works out, whether that works out for me or whether we have a big, huge disaster. Let's see. So let's check. He has space between his ears. Lo, when you're on the floor, it's talking a little bit like a Chinese monster movie. Godzilla, yeah. He forgot a lot. Do you have a spacer template? I did, Bob. I used, well, I kind of do. I used this box as my spacer, and I just drew lines. Yeah, so this is my life story. I have the tools that I need in most cases, but, so the speed square was used to draw the lines. And here's the reality, right? The reality is I've got enough slop in the design. I am carefully following the instructions. And as long as I follow the instructions perfectly, this should all work out perfectly, and everything should theoretically line up. So I'm going to put 1 screw in here, make that my pivot point, and then I will come back up here to the top piece, and pivoting around that bottom piece that I just put in, we'll get this piece put in. If anybody thinks the floors in this room are level, I got another story for you. So it's likely I'm going to need to end up putting some leveling feet on this anyway. So I'm not too worried about it being level. This is how the instructions said to do it. So that's, I'm doing it per the instructions, and that's what we're doing today. And for those of you that weren't here earlier, there are no instructions. I'm not following any instructions. So when I say I'm following instructions, there are no instructions to follow. I am just saying that because, that's what I'm doing. So We're just checking alignment based on my lines, getting the edges lined up so that all of the edges are where I need them. I really wish I had all of these rails because that would have been nice to get this project done tonight. But it's not going to get done tonight. The rest of the rails should theoretically arrive tomorrow. You know, they shipped, they just didn't deliver. I guess that's what I get for waiting until the last minute to do a project like this. So once I'm done with this, I then need to basically make a second one of these. And then once I have a second one of these, then I need to check the instructions and figure out how I am going to connect these two sides together so that when the two sides are connected together, they don't like splay or fall apart. And that's actually the thing I'm the most concerned about. I'm not really clear with the instructions I have how that is best gonna work. So I'll definitely need to probably take a slight little pause and just double check the instructions as I go on that part, just to make sure that I understand how to do that and still keep everything square. So has everyone figured out what this is yet? I mean, I guess it's pretty obvious, right? I mean, I've got two sides and we're gonna space them a certain distance apart and things are gonna, you know, fit in them and it's gonna work perfectly. Okay, so we're done. That's all she wrote. Stream's over, everyone go home because I don't know what to do next. No, but there it is. I mean, that's, right? That's pretty good. Now I just need the other side. You can't see it. Looks like I'm in jail. I still remember the IKEA cabinet build. That was a great stream. Oh wait, you didn't see any of it. Did I have the wrong camera selected that whole time? Did I? Oh boy. Oh. How's that for a typical stream? So should I take this apart and do it again, or should I just do the second one on camera? I guess there's a slight problem with me building the second one on camera. And the problem with me building the second one on camera is that I actually already built the first one. So I actually already have two of them. So you can kind of already see, let's see if I can clamp this together temporarily. Make this into a thing. Come on, clampy, clampy. Clamp together. There we go. So if I go back to this camera view, you can kind of see it right there. So here's the idea. So the problem now is I just got to get that spacing right. If I can figure out how to get that spacing right, then I'll be able to make this kind of work. So I only have one screw in this back piece here that's kind of holding things together. I only have one screw, so it's a little bit floppy. Those aren't safety shoes. Yes, they are. Go watch Otter Creek in Rio Grande. He always wears his safety shoes. So I thought that went awfully smooth for a Heath build. Yeah, especially because I didn't have the right camera on. Like, that was the best part of the stream. It does look interesting. What is it? It's a dough rack. That is kind of correct. Let's get into what this is. So, if you don't know, I've got an N scale switching layout. I've got a staging yard up here, and I've got a kind of a staging yard down here. So I've got 2 interchange points. And the thing that I wanted to come up with was a way to easily get cars on and off the layout. And what I did was I got a bunch of these little storage boxes. So you open them up, really nice little storage boxes for all your cars. But the problem that I was having was that I basically just have a stack of them over here. And the stack of them that I have over there, it wasn't, they weren't easy to get out, right? So Bob says, how are you going to keep the cars from falling off the shelves? So if you look at this box, this length here is like 13.5 inches. And this thickness here is about 1.75 inches. These are what's going to go on that shelf. So if we go back over to here, so the goal now is I need to figure out the proper spacing so that I can get, and this is obviously too tight. Can you see? Do I have the right camera angle now? Although I don't have the camera tilted up high enough. All right, so there we go. That's a great view of me. Don't look at me. That is a terrible, terrible view. I apologize for anybody that has to see that view. So what I need to do is get this now at a good width for this, right? So this is the goal. So the boxes are labeled on this end. I don't know if you can see, but there's actually a 1 on the box. And what I'm going to attempt to do is, I need to put another hole in this. But this is where I have to figure out what is Velcro. Yeah, exactly. Leg model. Yeah. I would put the box and paint stir stick on one side and clamp the second leg on. Yeah, width of the storage box plus 1/4 to 3/8. And that's my goal. That's the plan, is to add a little distance. But what I guess what I'm not sure of. All right, so I'm gonna do this first. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna square this side up, and I am going to, I know this is like probably like great view, right? Oh, let's try not to get this channel demonetized, and let's try and so I'm using these are like construction screws. They've got a star bit pattern on them, and somewhere I've got a star bit. I got a drill to put in a pilot hole. So I'm going to check square. So this is on the one leg that is already pinned. So I've got 1 in, and I'm gonna set this and put a second one in. So this is where I need to start concentrating. I've got a countersink bit. So I'm going to take, am I showing the right camera at least this time? Or though, like, I'm just like in front of everything so you can't actually see anything. So all you were doing was looking at my back. I tell you, the production value of this stream is through the roof. It does not get better than this, folks. This is this is good. No, I didn't drill through the box. We're good. Taking a bet if the box ends up on the floor. It could. Good view of your back, thank you. Use a piece of cardboard as a temporary spacer. I mean, the box is cardboard, right? So that works. No? Maybe? So let's get this screw in. That'll make this square. And that fit nice. So let's try this again. Let's try doing this again with this bottom one. And maybe if we, and I know my head's in the way again, maybe if we do this bottom one right. So I've already got this bottom one placed. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to figure out the distance on the other side, and wherever that one ends, that one's going to end there, and we're just going to go with it, and it's just going to be what it's going to be. Of course, what's happening right now is I pulled out 4 screws, not 8 screws. So since I only pulled out 4 screws, I don't have screws for the other side, but we're countersinking this hole now. And then we're getting the, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like a star bit. I think it's a T25, I think is what it says it is. And it's these construction screws. I think they're kind of like a deck screw almost. I don't know why those are the screws I have, but those are the screws that I have. And yeah, so the next thing to do, I guess, is spin this around and get it in a spot where this tray slides in and out nicely. You know, anybody can call 911. They don't need to be here. Is it square? Did he check? Does he have a square? Torque screws are the best. Yeah, they're pretty good. It's a pretty good tool. So if I bring this down here to the bottom, right? So woohoo. And I've got it set too wide, so that just almost fell onto the ground. So that wants to come in a little bit. So that's good spacing, but see, and this is where like it seems like it's lopsided right now. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but from the angle I'm looking at it, it's very lopsided. And I'm not exactly sure the best way to deal with the lopsidedness. But I guess we'll figure it out, right? I mean, if I just keep piling boxes in, eventually we'll get to a point where the boxes will let me know that it's square. The other thing I'm worried about is I'm on the foam down here, and the floor's not flat. This foam's not flat. Nothing's flat. And I'm kind of making a mess. Is it perpendicular to the floor? Probably, maybe. So part of the problem I'm dealing with is this top edge is one of the edges that I cut. So it's not quite right, or it's not, I don't know for sure that it's lined up. What I can do, what I just realized I could do, is use the edge of the 3/4 inch plywood to kind of set my spacing. So I could definitely do that. And that gives me plenty of slide. So I think that's a good position there. So I think what I really need to just do is get this into position, get a square on it, and then like kind of make it square. Right? I mean, that should kind of make it square if I kind of get this lined up, right? I mean, that's kind of That's kind of how it's going to go. And if it wobbles a little, I mean, I guess how much of a problem is it if it wobbles? Because right now it's wobbling a lot. So what I really need to do, and I don't know if I want to do this or not, but what I really need to do is I need to bring this into the hallway. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. All right, can everyone see? Well, it looks like it froze. Why did the camera freeze? All right, so camera's still working there. If we go back to here, nope, that's frozen. So let's try and fix the camera. That is not helping. Let's see, there's the camera. Okay, so that should be the camera. Audio, but frozen video, and that's still not working. Why is that still not working? When I open the door, I have like sensors and stuff on the door. And I think when I opened the door, it kind of freaked out a little bit and it locked up that camera. There we go. So that's the hallway. So yeah, we're going on a little bit of adventure. So I can't actually open the door far enough to actually get out. So this might be interesting. This may or may not work. And I just realized I probably should not have put the camera in the doorway before I moved the shelf out into the hallway. And it is going to echo like crazy out there. But the good thing of being out here is that oops, sorry, I just hit the camera. There is a much better chance, there's a much better chance that the floor out there is flat. So we're gonna back this up a little bit. So I think if I'm not in the camera view, tell me now or forever, what's the term? It's kind of dark out here too, so I can't really see. All right, so that's flat. I mean, that's not moving. That's kind of good, I guess. Does that look like it's kind of flat now and kind of square? I win the bet. What was the bet? I missed the bet. Oh, winner Don, the box is on the floor. Yes, the box did hit the floor. It's, you know, it's a part of the way I do things around here. I like to keep things interesting. So I should be able to theoretically, using the somewhat flat terrazzo floor that was poured back in 1929, which has a ton of wear on it. So who knows? I like those boxes. I have mine in an IKEA cubby. Oh, of course, now you tell me that an IKEA cubby would have worked. So the good news is that this is kind of like a corner that's not really used a lot, although if somebody is downstairs, they'll hear me yakking to myself and they'll wonder, what in the world is that guy doing? Paul, if you actually get yourself here, you'll actually be able to see this in person. So we are going to just go for it. We're gonna make a final decision. This is where I need like more tools, right? Because we're using 3 different bits here. Here's the construction screw. Hopefully I've got the right camera on because I'm in the hallway now and I can't see a darn thing. We're going to put a second screw in down here. So again, the additional screws, not really for strength, but more just to keep things square, because, you know, boxes are square, and that's kind of the goal around here, right? To keep things square, keep things together, keep things safe. All right, hopefully you can still see me. I don't know what you're looking at. For all I know, you could be, I don't know. Maybe you're looking at my safety shoes right now. Maybe you're looking at my ankles. Not really sure. I'm doing this one screw at a time because I don't want to drill 2 holes and then have the second hole be off because it wasn't, you know, lined up. So this is much sturdier than I thought. I was afraid that when I did this, that the front was going to kind of splay open on me. But this is actually holding together really well. These Felter boxes I actually got off of Amazon. There's a seller on Amazon that doesn't have them in stock all the time, but has them in stock enough of the time that I've been able to get myself a couple of sets. And this should really do me well for a little while. Let's get myself back inside. Everyone's probably talking about me behind my back, but now, you know, we got a thing now. So this should help. Let's see if that's gonna work. So this should help with my storage. Should make things easier. Gotta say, walking around doing chores while listening, one heck of an experience. We hope the boxes are square. I hope the boxes are square as well. Knowing Heath, that drill could start a fire. Hopefully not, but yeah. Yeah, I do have the fire extinguishers right by the door. First aid kit is here. I know where it is. It's actually labeled safety. Turn that lamp around before you get hurt. I know, I did think about that a couple times, turning the clamp around. So this box down here is actually number 1. So that guy's gonna go up top here. So that's 1, 2, and I am going to unbuckle my shoe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Why isn't it fitting? Oh, it's just the screws. Just bumping into screws. Well, I think, you know, based on Steve's comment, maybe we're just going to countersink these screws. The reality is I don't pull them out that often that it probably really matters all that much. But, yeah, so this is where I'm going to start storing all of my stuff. As you can see, I've got the 6 boxes in. The rest of these rails, there are 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more rails that go in here. 5 more rails that go on the bottom. So I'll be able to stick more stuff in, and then I'll just clear out the corner under the car float over there, and we'll get to it. Uh-oh, what did he say now? Oh, plan. Yeah, Paul, I hope you can get down here. Check the wobble. If I need to, what I will do is get a, well, I have adjustable feet. I'm going to try not to put them on if I don't need them. I do kind of think, you know, countersinking is probably going to be a good idea. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, this is definitely much better than it was, because before this, I wouldn't have been able to get out any of these middle boxes. I would have had to, you know, take the whole stack down. So I guess that's a good sign. See if the screws are countersunk. You would, yes. I just need to find the right size countersink. I do have, I think here's one of them. I do have a countersink set. I can't see what size this is, but it's definitely, it's not a number 8. I know that, so I'll try and find the number 8. It is aluminum, so it shouldn't be too hard. Cross bracing would be helpful. So one of the things that I'll probably do for cross bracing is I've got this is an extra piece of the fascia that I have. So what I am planning to do with this is to use this as additional pieces along the back. So I could probably make a nice X with it, and it's, you know, it's so thin, just cut it wherever and make an X and kind of make that work. And I guess you really only need one, right? You don't need two. Just cut and make the one X with this. Or or I do have an extra piece of this too. I can, at some point, I can take it back out in the hallway and just use this. Why cut up a perfectly good piece of fascia? It's your 30th birthday on the day that you're gonna come operate on my layout? Oh boy. At a cross priest, Ron says. Yeah, so I think this is gonna be my cross piece. I think we'll put this on here. I'll probably take it back outside just to make sure it's kind of flat-ish before I lock it in, but then just put 2 screws down here, 2 screws up top, and be done with that. I don't necessarily want to do too much more in case I need to pull, what's the camera? In case I need to pull these off to get in to screw the other ones in, because it'll be easier if I take these off to do that. So this way I only have to undo these 4 screws. I'll separate it. I'll add the rest of the shelves in, but I think it's a thing. Yeah, apartment buildings do love late night projects. It's before 10 o'clock. We're good. I'm not planning on putting wheels under it. I don't think that this will ever be anything that needs to roll. And actually, the way this is currently built, I actually think this top box might actually hit the bottom of the display. So, of the layout. So I might actually need to move everything down one and not have a box that needs to slide out. But because these slide out, I don't need wheels on them. I think it'll be okay without. Yeah, I move by osmosis. Absolutely. Will you need to do a shot or no. Start over. We're not going to start over. Screw it into the wall. When I originally took over this room, my goal was to not screw into the walls. That left a long time ago, unfortunately. But yeah. What do you mean, Ed? Turn the aluminum over. Turn it upside down. Oh, are you saying to get the other leg? I'm gonna have there's gonna be shelves all the way down to the bottom. So there's other aluminum down on the bottom. So I don't think turning it over is gonna make a difference. Hey Dennis, if you want, post up the link if you're still here. Post the link for your premiere. Once you post the link, I'll get out of here. So apparently Dennis is doing a premiere. You can go check that out. I think this project went a little bit better than my previous woodworking project. I do need to go clean up the hallway because I do have some other stuff in there, because in order to clear out the floor to make it my work area, I had to stick some stuff in the hallway. So I'm gonna go clean that up. Then I'm gonna head over and I'll go check out what Dennis is up to. And then, you know, next thing hopefully will be an op session and we'll be moving some more cars around the layout. So from the city that never sleeps, farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity.